Hi, welcome to Ask Adam Live, the first and only live online marketing show geared towards real estate agents, where I answer your questions live about marketing yourself and your business online in the digital world more effectively, more profitably. So we'll just kind of dive right in. This is actually episode 3. We have not been canceled yet, and our sponsors or our future sponsors have not pulled out yet. So let's go into the very first question. This is from Neil, a mortgage officer, a loan officer here in Las Vegas, a buddy of mine actually. He says, what are the do's and don'ts of Facebook? Well, there's plenty. I think the biggest one is you need to set up a business page. And that's very important. I see a lot of agents out there sharing their listings with their friends and their friends' newsfeed and that. And I really suggest starting a business page and sharing your listings there, sharing your blog post there, sharing community events there, sharing different charity events, maybe what you're doing in the community, what you're doing to give back, not just your listings. There's so many times I go to an agent's fan page, and it's just listing, and it's just boring. It's the same thing. It's kind of pitching, pushing, trying to sell. Facebook's a difficult tool to sell with directly. Indirectly, it's wonderful. If there's certainly a science to it. So you want to share just all kinds of different information. So do's would be share helpful information, add value, and then occasionally kind of that sales pitch of that listing or that open house. Try to keep like an 80-20 rule, 80% non-promotional and 20% kind of promotional. So those are kind of the do's and don'ts for the Facebook business page. Don't always sell. That's what everybody does. It's actually pretty easy to stand out in your marketplace and do something different and try to provide value. And I share news stories, local news stories. That's another great thing to share. The positive ones, if you can find those, not the negative stuff. And then different restaurants, follow restaurants. A lot of restaurants have different contests, you can share that on your page, share other people's content, curate their Facebook post, and maybe reach out to them and they could do the same for you. So not always listings. Number 2 question is, actually all 3 of these questions, thank you Neil, came from Neil here. Is it okay for a person to use a picture of themselves on Facebook that was taken 20 years ago? Yeah, I guess if you want. I don't see that too often, but at times, you think you get to meet the person digitally, and then you meet the person in person, and realize that they're 300 pounds heavier. So I don't think that's a big deal to use. I use a picture in the last couple of years. I think my profile picture is from 2 or 3 years ago. I think I look the same. Maybe I might have put on a few more pounds since then, but within a couple of years, I think it's fine as long as it's not huge changes. And then the last one is, this is a common one I get from a ton of agents. What is the best way to keep track of leads? Invest in a CRM. That is absolutely the best way to manage all your leads. Obviously, real estate is a very typically is a much longer sales cycle. So if you're talking to a lead and they're not interested, or you're talking to a person and they're not interested in buying or selling a home by 5 o'clock today, that doesn't mean they're not a qualified lead. Add them into a CRM, and then in CRMs you can put little reminders, to reach out to them in 30 days, 45 days, 60 days, and then strike up a conversation then. And they say, no, we'll probably be ready in March of 2015. Well, then in your CRM, you can add that little reminder for March 1st to follow up with that lead. So invest in a CRM. There are hundreds of them on the market. There are quite a few that are geared specifically towards the real estate market. Follow Up Boss is one. It's a little pricey. One I use is called Contactually, and I think it's around $19 a month. You get a free trial, free 30-day trial. I suggest just diving in. I think I tested 5 or 6 CRMs. Didn't really like some of them, and finally landed on Contactually, and used that one since the beginning of this year, I think. But it's been a lifesaver. It's great for lead management and follow up, and there's just a lot of capabilities to CRMs. But for reminders, it's a no-brainer. Anytime I meet someone at an event, They have different buckets. That's what contextually calls them. And you can do certain follow-up sequences if it's a lead, if it's a referral partner, whatever type of person you meet, a local colleague, things like that. And you can touch them at certain campaigns. Like I have for kind of local colleagues, I try to send out an email every 60 days, just, hey, how you doing? Thinking about you, blah, 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 blah. Nothing, not trying to sell anything, pitch anything. Usually leads to maybe a coffee. We meet for coffee or maybe meet for lunch, something like that. So invest in a CRM. It is, I use the word invest because it will pay for itself many, many times over, and probably within the first month or two. So find a CRM, add all your contacts, you add your database to that CRM, and keep in touch with all of them. So that is it. Thank you for the questions, Neil. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions for me about how to market yourself or your real estate business more effectively, like I said, in this online digital world, please go to askadamlive.com and submit your questions, or show up here every Thursday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you have. Thank you.